So I'm just gonna start off with talking about the final part of the chapter, explaining why it's all connected. Because if you've been keeping up with the channel and my latest two theories, they seem to tackle this very issue or mystery. I think I'm at the point where I've pretty much figured out what has been going on here. And so I will refer you to my understanding Shen Wulong theory and why Shen Wulong will lose everything, or my nemesis theory. I might have to rename it into the nemesis theory, it makes more sense. But long story short, the reason why Yamashita says it's all connected is of course because of Shen Wulong. He's the one in the picture when this is being said, and we know Shen Wulong is the connector. However, ask yourself the simple question, okay, what is it that the connector connects? However, we do know why he's called the connector, and that is the fact that the connector is the person who receives the memories from the Hang Shuang process. At least I hope that's how you say it. And so, what Shen Wulong connects is the previous Shen Wulongs, the past memories. In other words, the one person that Shen Wulong said that probably can fight him as an equal, but he cannot fight him right now, is himself. I know, it's a bit weird, but that is indeed the truth of what's going on here. The only person who is an equal to the connector is, well, the connector. And Shen Wulong is more than likely trying to essentially create another version of himself, which is why he probably wanted to pass on his memories to both Oma and Ryuki. That kind of explains that dialogue from back then, that the reason why he actually will give his memories to both Oma and Ryuki is because, look, the more the merrier for him to fight. The only person he doesn't seem to want to do this with is Lohan, and that's probably has to do with him being a black sheep or him not being loyal to him. Ultimately though, Shen Wulong wants to fight against, say, the past generations of the connector or a new connector. Really doesn't matter to him. But what is interesting, and it might be what Yamashita saw to figure this out, I think there might be, and this is weird to say, it might be that it's not just a personality and spirit switching that happens with the connector, because that's what I think happens, because we do have evidence when Oma said way back in the whole meeting where Shen Wulong basically went around tapping everyone and knocking everyone out, Oma said he couldn't even recognize Shen Wulong because it seemed like a completely different person. It might just be that it isn't just the personality that's switches, but even some body proportions that adjust themselves. We've actually seen Shen Wulong manipulate his body to that extent, and so that might be the thing that gave him the tip off. He might have actually seen some movement in his body that would suggest that Shen Wulong was kind of shifting into something else that was still, Shen Wulong. It's confusing, it's all connected because the connector is connecting the previous connectors. There you go, alright? The rest of this chapter, however, seemed to have been dealing with a bit more training. We first saw some of the supernovas, but I mean, come on, is anyone expecting these guys to fight Shen Wulong? I don't think so. I mean, if they face any of the other heads of the worm, they're getting washed. And so, yeah. Other than, it does explain why Koga and Ryuki ended up splitting from them, because last we heard from Yamashita himself, he said that Koga and Ryuki, they were with the supernova, working out and training, but they've split off from them now and are focusing on getting or practicing or mastering the Long Clan's techniques. And it seems as though both Koga and Ryuki are going to master this together. And so it's gonna be interesting seeing if Koga will ever actually use this move, especially if it's particularly powerful. But another thing that seemed to be interesting was the Yamashita, place that Koga actually took Ryuki to. We do know that the Yamashita family used to be an esteemed family, but to put it quite simply, Koga's from a fallen family. Like the Nurashima stocks fell off hard, bro. So yes, they still have places that look good and big for dojos, but the majority of the family they suck, alright? They're just normal dudes for the most part. They're scattered everywhere. They've lost their nobility for the most part. And so this is actually just one of the proofs that that is definitely the case. Remember, even Nogi had a rough time finding anyone who was related to the Nurashima family. Like Yamashita, Kozu was like the closest he could get. And so again, this further reinforces this idea of the Nurashima clan being a fallen family, which is something I might talk about in the future, because I think this is going to be very important to understanding Koga's character. But I do wonder if we're going to get, although we probably not, right? Like I would think we're probably not gonna get the Koga and Ryuki training, mainly because it's probably going to be saved for a big reveal later on. What's also interesting about this chapter is the fact that Oma is still training with Ryuki, Rito, and I forgot the other guy, the ninja dude. It seems as though that training is still progressing, and Kuroki it seems like they don't even go to the store, they hunt for their food, which is kinda raw, but it's something that I think they can handle for the most part. I don't know about Rito and the ninja dude, even though it wouldn't necessarily surprise me, but it just seems like something that someone like Kuroki would be doing, just living off of nature or some wild stuff like that. But yeah, that was basically the chapter. Not much really happened in terms of pushing the story forward. It's just reinforcing the fact that everyone is training, and we eventually got the fact that Koga and Ryuki are working on the long clan techniques. But yeah, that's the review. If you like it, like, sub, all that fun stuff, and until next time, take it easy.